Okay, so what we've got here is Codecademy, and we're going to have a go at the Maker website. Now, if it asks you to try and sign up and join the Pro, just ignore that, hit cancel, hit back. You don't want or need to sign up for Pro. So we're going to work on the Maker website. So you can go, I'm just going to enter into this. The URL for this, you see at the top, codecademy.com/learn/make a website. And this has got a few different sections. So it's about how to use HTML and CSS to set up a web page and its structure. The syllabus, we're only going to do the parts that aren't listed as Pro. So section 1, site structure, closer look at CSS, boundaries and space, building with Bootstrap, and then you can have a look at the setting up your domain, but that's not an essential part. So let's jump in with site structure. Now, the user interface, there are 3 different sections. We've got our instructions on the left. I'm just going to go back to our first task. So it tells us what HTML is. It stands for Hypertext Markup Language. It's basically the rules and structures that we use to set up web pages. In CSS, cascading style sheets, that's what actually sets things out and like how things appear. So HTML, what's on the page, CSS, how it looks. And we're going to be working through actually creating some of these. So we're going to hit next to go into the next section. So notes and instructions on the left, our code goes in the middle, and the output is seen on the right. So the key thing we've got here is it's highlighted a point that we've got tags. So they start with a lowercase, like an opening less than symbol, then the name of the tag, and then a closing symbol. So this H1 stands for heading 1, and they always go in a pair, or most of them do. And so there's a /H1. So we can see here, we've got a heading 1 tag that says you're building a website. Now, the only stuff that actually gets shown is actually what's inside the tags. Now we've got the header, that's part of this page that we can't actually see. The body is the main part of the web page you can actually see everything on. So what we're going to do is modify the content of a page, the stuff that's inside the body. And our first task, it's asked us to change what's written inside these tags, the H1 tags. So I'm going to modify that so that it says Mr. Thorley. And I'm going to hit run. And it's told me that one's okay, so I'm now going to go hit next. Now, this next part is going to take that step further, and it's going to actually get us to add in our own headings. So we remember last time it had that H1 tag, and there are 6 different headings. So we need to type, really emphasizes them in, this one, Ollie bike sharing. And we're going to run that. And then when we finish that, the second one will come up, become active. So I'm going to put an H1 tag. I always actually like to write the starting and closing tags together. And now let's put it in. Now I'm just going to make it spelling error on this to show you what happens. Oh, let's actually mark that one okay. Let's say I got, okay, on the next line, let's try it. It's asked for an H2 tag, so I'm going to actually put an H3. Let's see what happens. And what does it say? It wants share your pedals with the world. Let's run that. Oh, it's given us an error, and it's given us down here a little bit of information. So let's try that. Fix that up. You can see it's got some red there because it's saying, hey, there's something not quite right. And it's got that one. It's not as picky here. I'm just going to add that little full stop there. And that's finished. Now that next button has become active, so I'm going to hit next. And I want to add now paragraph. So it's like a paragraph you get in Word. And oh, what does it actually ask? Let's have a check of that. Does it actually ask for an H3 tag? Nope. So below the H3 element, well, it's actually H2. So I'm going to close that paragraph and let's type in that text. So I need a set of wells while in town. Use Ollie to pair your perfect vacation with rentals. Okay, so we got that. Let's hit run, see if that's all right. Awesome, it's marked that. And let's hit next. And anchor. So that's what the A tag is. Anchor is also often used for links. So what we're going to do is make a link on this page. So you see it's got an href, hyperlink reference, equals, and then there's a set of quote marks, and then the name of the website or the web page you want to go to. And then inside the A tag is the text. Now, that web address, it's actually called a URL, Uniform Resource Locator. Okay, so after the last sentence, but inside the paragraph tag, so it's got that. That's the text that's going on it, but now I need to actually make that an anchor tag. Href equals oh, it's actually no, it's doing this in a few steps, so it just wants that text to start with. It's not actually wanting everything all at once. Now I'm going to enclose that just where the list is. So I'm going to have a href equals cities.html, so the name of it, and it's only going to be just the word list. Now if we run this, you'll note now on this right hand side that word list has become a page that loads up. And that's it for that part. So as you can see, it sort of just works through basically a number of different sections about building up our websites and our design skills. So as we use the tag, we've got the attribute name equals, and then inside the speech marks, the attribute value, so what we're actually linking to, and then the link text, and then that closing tag. Next one, we've got an image. So this is one of the ones that doesn't actually have a closing tag. It actually does it all at once. So you've got that little slash there. So bracket image, src, source, and then wherever the image is located. So what we're going to have is link up an image. So let's have a look. Where do we want to put this? Let's put it at the bottom. After the rest of the text, image source equals that bit of text, and close the image tag. And we can now see that picture has been installed. And if we want to change it, we just change what the name of the picture we're going to actually load up. You can see we've got a different picture. We can also add videos, and the video, very similar. So let's go and add a video tag. I'm going to put the closing video tag as well. Big difference with the video is that we have a source tag, which tells us where the file is. And we can also add some other controls and things like that. So in the video, its attributes, we can set its width. And let's just say that set it to be 320 pixels. And it's going to have some controls on it. And it wants us to actually delete that image tag. And let's see what it actually asks us to do here. And it's got its source for that one. I'm getting ahead of ourselves. So let's just run that, see if it deletes that first video. Yeah, it's done that. Height and weight, height and width, yep. So run. Yeah, let's check that. And now we can actually see that that actually did play. Oh, we need to actually put that closing paragraph tags. So you can see now it's pushed it below. Awesome. Well, next little bit, looking at how to do lists. So where does it want this? So we've got two types, an ordered list, which is OL, and an unordered list, which is like bullet points, which uses UL. Both have the same list items, LIs, they're all the same. I can create these. So we're going to, above the H1 tag, create some new lines between the body and H1. I'm going to create an H2 element. There's the nav bar, and the text is going to read Ollie. Yep, let's run that. So we've got that little bit there. Cool. Now we're going to add our items into here. So below the nav bar, H2, we're going to put our unordered list. As usual, I'm going to just put those other little opening and closing tags. I'm going to need 4 of those. I'm just going to copy those and paste them. And then type in our instructions. And hit run on that. Oh, got an extra little paragraph tag there. Let's get rid of that. Let's run this one. And yep, it's got that. Yeah, no, parent and child, so it's things that are inside other elements. Okay, so we've got our children and our parents. Child element, because it is inside or nested inside the unordered list. Now div, for divisions, means we can divide up our pages into different sections. Really important concept. And it means we can sort of group sections together. So ... basically means all the code that's going to be inside that. So we're going to have all the stuff between the body tags and a div element called container. Ooh, would you normally do it that way? Actually, I think that's what it's meaning. So in here, from that body, div, class, there's a set of rules we can use. We'll learn about that more when you look at the CSS. And everything that is inside that so that closes it, that means all of that stuff there is in our container. It's got all those sections in there. So look, starts looking a little bit messy. Now we're going to do the same for this navigation section, and we're going to set it to be nav. Div nav, and all the stuff for the nav goes in there. Test that one, and we've got a nice little section on here. Now this is actually loading up some CSS behind the scenes to actually do that formatting. The main.css file behind the scenes has actually got all those different colors and setting in there as well. So let's have a look at what we've got here. That one I think should be an H3 tag. I think it's just something that it wanted. Close the company. H1, this third section, this is going to be called main. So this basically gives us a 2-column layout. Div class main. So we've got one class for the navigation, one class for the main, and one class for the basic main content, and then the container, which everything else goes into. Cool, so we've got that there. And last bit is metadata, the things which are hidden away from the user, but describes what the web page is actually about, which is what gets looked at by search engines. Doc-type HTML tells us it's an HTML file. Got a heading, the head, title, what the site's title, meta charset, what sort of format details are in. We don't actually have too much to do on here. And it's just last bit is a bit of a review. So that's how the different sections all sort of work their way through. So have a look at those. And then if you click on the up next, it's going to try and get you into the pro. Skip it and just do start next lesson. And you should hopefully get some achievements. So take some screenshots of those, and then when it gets the time, upload those onto Teams. So now we're looking at CSS, which will be how to set out your page.